La noche se acabó, pero tengo otra vez contigo. Le doy gracias a Dios, siempre pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Siempre lo pasamos bien lindo, lindo. Un verano contigo lindo, lindo. Me fui de vacaciones, baby, me perdí, buscando el sabor que encontré en ti. Canela con dolor de Bacardi, lo sentí. Baby, me tiene desenfocado, viendo doble, bien borracho, demasiado jodido. Contigo, pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama. Tú y yo, un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito, bonito, un día bonito, bonito. Pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Well, it's just gone into Wednesday here in the UK because it's just past midnight. But happy Tuesday for everyone else. How's everyone doing? I had to take a couple of days off, just chill, but so much has happened that it took me forever to even put my slides together because I was just so confused. Like, wait, when did this happen? And then this happened, and wait, what's this here? That's the downside to like waiting a few days. So much happens, and then it's just everything is a muddle. Well, thank you so much, Dina, for the donation. You said, Missy Squaddies, it's been a while, but I'm back. I'm glad to have you back, Dina. Thank you for coming back. So happy to have you here. Let's see who else is here. Hey, Paulina. Hey, Connie. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Margaret. Hey, CZQ. Hope everyone is doing well and is well. Yeah, a lot to get through today. Like, oof. Where to even begin? But hey, before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who went and supported Squaddy Other. She actually posted I think this is going to be the last video in her Meghan series, Don't Be Held Back by Crabs in a Bucket. And I think we can all tell why this would relate to Meghan and the royal family. But the way that she explains this in the video is so good. I mean, the whole series has been amazing, but yeah, it's just brilliant the way that, like, what we know kind of has gone on, and the way with Meghan and the way she weaves it into a life lesson. It's so brilliant. So make sure you go, and I think there was going to be 7 videos in the series, but I think she shortened it to 6 now. But this is the last one. And if you like the tone of the videos, her videos are basically continuing on the same kind of tone, but not linked to Meghan and the royal family. But this series is brilliant. I think it's definitely worth going back to watch all of it if you haven't seen it already, and stuff that you can bookmark and go back to. So go and support her, and that's the last video in that series. Anything else I need to mention before we get? Okay, no. I think we can get straight into the royal stuff. First of all, if you're not following Meghan and As Ever on Instagram, why aren't you? Because she's basically posting every other day now. And some of it is very much just home, lifestyle, very normal things. And I think, aside from, I guess what Meghan and Harry want to show of their lives, I also think this is a fantastic PR strategy. I just think it dispels so much of the nonsense every time that she posts. It's just normal stuff. Here's my fruit bowl. Here's my garden. Here's the kids. Well, their hands at least, because we're protecting their privacy. Here's us just living relatively normally, but more than anything, happily. Because the narrative is that Harry in particular is not happy. Like, everybody in this house is held hostage. No, they're not. They are having rainbow fruit salads and pancakes and just being happy and living their best lives. Bacon too. Bacon and jam and crepes. Like, it is just ridiculous how desperate they are in the tabloids to paint this picture of misery. Misery where? The only people who believe that are people who are miserable themselves, and they're projecting. Now, what you can see there in the last picture, I believe that is, would that be Lily's hand? Maybe Archie's hand, cutting a cake for Papa Sussex when he returned from Ukraine. And that is actually a gift that he got while he was in Ukraine. Very, very sweet. And it's a little bit of details. Somebody posted this. This is the Ukrainian lady, Yulia. She posted, "Your Royal Highness." Meghan actually reposted this on Instagram, by the way. "I would like to express my sincere gratitude for everything that you and your family is doing for Ukraine, and for helping us draw the world's attention to humanitarian demining in Ukraine. Demeaning will allow millions of displaced Ukrainians to return home and allow thousands of children to go to school without fear. This means so very much to us all. A remarkable group of women who live in the border region of Sumy, an area affected by landmines, have prepared this Easter bread for you and your family. Today, they, along with all of us, are deeply moved knowing that the symbolic offering Easter bread, made from flour harvested from demined fields, will be on your table. Thank you from all Ukrainians for your kindness and good-heartedness." And obviously, Harry being very involved with the efforts there through Invictus. And one of the most annoying things, and we'll get into the security thing in a sec, a bit more deeper, but one of the most annoying narratives that has come out this week that the British tabloids have tried to spin is that if Harry can go to a war zone, why is he complaining about coming to the UK? Well, it's quite simple, because he had a proper protection detail while he was there. His location was not leaked. We didn't know about it until after the fact. And so there was very little room to put him in danger. In comparison to him being in the UK, where the security issue is all up in the air and being meddled with, so clearly being meddled with, and Harry has now seen it in black and white. If he didn't already know, and he probably did, we all did. And instead of being utterly ashamed that Harry is safer in a war zone than he is in his own country, the tabloids and the institution are trying to spin it into something else. Ridiculous. Anyway, that was a very sweet gesture, and I'm sure they must be very proud and happy. That was a very sweet gesture. Some other pictures that I didn't get to show. There were more details that came out about Harry's visit in Ukraine afterwards on the Archwell site, and more pictures. Harry visiting a surgery ward, and also the founder of the Superhumans Center. That's a picture of Harry and her there. So a very short but successful trip, and Harry made his way straight back home. And back home, as ever, is doing great. Everything is sold out, and I'm sure that they are restocking. And the Daily Fail is apparently so desperate to see how things are going in the As Ever factory. I don't know if it's the factory or the office or what it is, but the Daily Fail decided to stake out the As Ever mailing address. Yo, when I saw this, I just thought, this can't be real. They went and stalked the mailing address of Meghan's lifestyle company, of her lifestyle company. How is this not stalking? If I got on a plane right now, all the way to California, or wherever this mailing address is, I haven't actually read the full article yet. We'll get to it. I'm pretty sure even you would have something to say to me. And I hope it would be, Anne, get your ass back on a plane and back to the UK. What do you think you're doing? Like, you have to laugh, but it's not funny. There was also a troll, a US-based troll, who apparently flew over from the US. And this woman, I'm not going to even say her name because I don't want to give her too much shine or attention, especially because who we're now found out that she's friends with, Dan Wooten, pictured with him. She flew from the US to the UK when Harry was here for the court case, because she can't get close to Harry when she's in the US. She'd probably get pew-pewed on sight, and rightly so, for being a stalker. So she flies to the UK to stalk Harry at his court case, and she can do that because just because she has a platform, she can call herself a journalist when her behavior is that of a stalker. We had a whole 24 hours after we realized that Harry had landed in the UK for his court case and that he was going to be here for a second day. Did you see any of the squaddies down there at the courthouse? I didn't see anyone. Do you know what I did when I found out that Harry was in the UK? I went to my kitchen and I made a cup of tea and I continued to mind my business. That wasn't a royal or a Harry and Meghan rather appearance for an event. That was a court hearing. There was nothing to see. There was nothing to see. There was nothing to go line up for. There was nothing to take pictures of. What were you doing? Getting on a plane and flying all the way? The weirdo behavior of these people. And I know that Harry and Meghan's people, they look at everything, they're monitoring everything, but I just find it crazy that there doesn't even seem to be any real precedent to deal with this, because it's like it's happening, but it's not being dealt with. I don't think it's because nobody is trying to do something. I think they are, but it's like, what do you do? there isn't really anything in place to do anything about this. You had Tom Bauer going over to Whistler, Canada, for the Invictus Games. This is somebody who has written a whole book talking about how he hates Harry and Meghan. What are you doing there? Like, there are several incidences of this now. And now you've got, sorry, I sidetracked a bit, but all of this rant is because of this Daily Fail person looking for the as ever mailing address. I don't know if they're hoping that Meghan will be there, but anyway, let's read the article. This is from Kaiser Celebrity. The Duchess of Sussex knew that whenever she launched her brand and put her name on a product line, an entire national press was going to obsess over every single part of her business. Of course, they're obsessing over everything. I mean, you had that E. Holmes woman, and I personally still think it's a mistake that Harry and Meghan's people sent her a PR package. You had her posting the factory address on the mailing address or something. Actually, it wasn't even the address. She screenshot a Google map of it. For what? Why would you do that? Not just obsess, but they would stalk her every move. They would go out of their way to mock, denigrate, and lie about her brand. And they would actively try to harm her brand. Meghan isn't even selling as ever products in the UK. But that hasn't stopped the British press from running terrible reviews of her as ever jam and declaring the product line a total flop. A flop which sold out within an hour. While as ever products are labeled with the company's business address in LA. Obviously, this was an invitation for the Daily Fail to send one of their reporters to LA to stake out the business address and report on what she saw. These people won't even report on Charles's jam or his lettuce or whatever it is he sells at Waitrose. But they're sending Daily Fail reporters to stalk Meghan's factory. This is why I keep saying the monarchy is not going to fail or be abolished because of some grand Republican far left movement or anything like that. It's just going to wither away because nobody's interested. And the very people who in some instances are paid and have been put in place to keep the royal family or the leftovers, what's left of them, front and center, they're not even focusing on the royals. They're not focusing on the leftovers. They're focusing on Harry and Meghan. They're sending their reporters to go and stalk a factory. Meanwhile, the king and his side chick were just in Italy, and there was hardly any fanfare about that tour at all. From Carolyn Graham's, I visited Meghan's new Hollywood HQ and discovered a seedy secret. Oh, what did you discover? What did you discover? Is Meghan illegally hiring fairies and gnomes to make her jam? For a woman who talks about elevating everyday life and puts flower sprinkles on everything, it is a surprisingly drab global HQ. What were you expecting from an office of a business? Maybe she was actually expecting that it was being illegally run by fairies and gnomes. Because what exactly would you be expecting? It's either a factory or an office where products are made and shipped and labeled. What do you want? I'm not going to say the whole address here on the podcast, but they've got the whole address. Anyone visiting the address hoping for a bit of Hollywood glamour and glitz will be sorely disappointed. Anyone visiting the address, nobody is visiting the address except for you. What do you mean anyone visiting the address? No one other than a reporter from the Daily Fail is interested in going to an office of business. No one other than you. I mean, is this some kind of... This is the type of thing that they're doing to put Harry and Meghan in danger. I actually think that that's the real agenda here. It is likely the office is merely an official mailing address for As Ever Enterprises. When the Daily Fail visited there was no sign of anyone entering or leaving the building. The front door appeared to be locked, and a glance inside the window showed only bare shelves. At the Netflix studio lot next door, a worker said he had no idea what the building housed. They're even trying to see if the door is unlocked and looking through the windows. And we're not allowed to call this stalking because this is a so-called news company sending a so-called reporter. Kaiser goes on to say, you don't understand. When I first read this piece, my mouth was agape. Same. It's so funny, and also, oh my god, guys, I'm struggling. I'm really, really struggling. It's so funny and also incredibly bonkers. They're so obsessed that they sent a reporter to an as ever business address, and the reporter tried to break into the locked building, and she quotes an unnamed woman mocking the location of the mailing address. At no point does Graham or the Daily Mail acknowledge that they are the reason why Meghan has to use a nondescript office building as her business mailing address. Exactly, because they knew that the Daily Mail was going to do this. This is absolutely psychotic. Indeed, it is. I'm literally breaking down reading this. But wow, I'm so glad that Meghan built in layers of protection for herself and as ever. And isn't it bonkers and crazy that Harry and Meghan actually have to think to do this? This says to me that they haven't been able to find anything else. So now they're just doing stakeouts at Ever's mailing address. Y'all. What do you even say? What do you even say to that? Anyway, here's a picture of the as ever pretty packaging while I go through your comments. Oh my gosh. I mean, you've just never seen anything like this. Let's see what y'all are saying. I mean, surely at some point, somebody's going to look at this and go, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be laws, but maybe the laws, just the way we can't apply them the way they need to be applied to stop things like this. Bonkers. Yeah, those demons never rest, Black Queen. Yeah, they're losing their minds. Joan, you said the building might just be a shipping or warehouse area. Lightside, you said this screams undiagnosed. Something is deaf wrong kind of energy. Like, wow. Yeah, like, wow. Wow. Who does this?
Well. Next question. See ya.
Like when you said, see how Harry saw her and looked at her with contempt. That psycho probably print that picture and have it up in her bedroom. Yeah. I'm not going to say the name of the person. You probably know who I'm talking about if you've been out here on these royal Twitter streets. Apparently now friends with Dan Wooten, and goodness, given what Dan Wooten knows, goodness knows what Dan Wooten has told her. Yeah, Petal shamed Tom Bauer to his face, made him look like a whole fool. Anywho, in nicer news, Harry spoke to people. He spoke about the security thing, which I'll get into in a sec. But he also spoke about how he's incredibly proud of Meghan and the success of her brand. Very sweet. Also, while I was away, Meghan hopped over to New York. And she went to a Broadway show. Looking absolutely gorgeous. I believe that's a Carolina Herrera skirt. She definitely has her signature silhouettes. Like this fitted kind of long pencil skirt with the shirt. That's a look that she's done many times before. Similar silhouettes with different colors and patterns. So she posted this on her Insta. Let me just say that picture with the dog, that is my favorite picture of the year so far. Just so cute. So Meghan said, if you get a chance to see Gypsy B-Way, you absolutely must. Congratulations to the tremendously talented cast and crew for creating magic on that stage and meeting Audra McDonald for the first time last night. Her performance will leave you absolutely breathless, full body chills. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house, and if the theatre didn't have to close for the night, the standing ovation would still be happening. And I believe that Audra actually said in the past that she felt very protective of Meghan, and you could really feel the love in that hug. So pure. Also, Kerry Washington, friend of Meghan's, is also a producer on this Broadway show. So if you're in New York, please do go and support. And so many nice pictures of Meghan with the cast. And one of the things that always gets me. Y'all ready to laugh? Are you ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2. One of the things that always gets me is people's expressions around Harry and Meghan versus the other leftovers. And it's consistent. Pure smiles and joy around Harry and Meghan, and nothing but confusion and sadness around the other royals. Very sorry to this young man. Listen, this is just like one photo still. For all I know, all the other photos, he was probably very happy looking at Charles. But it's just the fact that it's consistent is the most hilarious part. Oh boy. What are the other royals gonna do? Let's see. Tangerine, you said, my sister and I are planning on going to New York to see Gypsy in June. Looking forward to it. Oh, please do tell us how you found it. Wendy, you said Harry is taking the Daily Fail to the court next year. With their current bad behaviour, you would think the Daily Fail would learn after Harry's win against Murdoch. Go figure. No, I think they're going to continue. I think they're still hoping to bully Harry into giving up. If anything, they'll probably get worse. They'll probably get worse. Houndstooth is the most slimming and shaping pattern. I have 6 pieces. I love it. Meghan really is every woman. Yeah, it is a very slimming pattern. Very very classy, very elegant, very old school. I think my mum also has a few pieces like this. There's just something about it. Thank you for giving us the actual name, Rahini, because I think I've been calling it not checkered, but something else for a while. Yes, and this Audra is absolutely gorgeous. There's another picture of her with Meghan here. See it a bit more clearly. Adorable. Black Queen, you said, love her Meg, acknowledging everyone who speak up for her. Meghan is such a sweet love. So sad that her goodness have to be validated by family, friends, and strangers because of these demons. Exactly. Exactly. Anywho, on to the next thing. The podcast today. Yes, episode 2 in Confessions of a Female Founder with the Girls Who Codes founder, Reshma Saujani. This was a very interesting talk because they touched upon something that I feel quite passionate about at the moment. And Reshma said how, you know, a lot of young women, I think, are looking at their older female mentors and other career women and actually turning away because they see burnout. And I think there has been over the last few years this kind of like backlash towards the boss babe and all that that stands for. And I think the backlash is very misguided and it's very deliberate and it's very much, in my eyes, a way of attacking women's progress and autonomy, because the problem isn't so much women taking up space and getting higher positions and maybe being in fields that typically they weren't in before. The problem is the way that society is shaped doesn't give women the flexibility to be able to find balance. And that goes from a government policy level, the way corporate life works, and also in the home, there needs to be more equitable division of labor, especially now that women are working and earning for the home. And she talked about how a lot of young women are now feeling like, it's either you're the boss babe or the trad wife, and there's a lot of, she didn't mention this part in particular, but I'm seeing, and I'm sure if you're online quite often, seeing a lot of this kind of like trad wife content being pushed to the forefront. And a lot of, you can see why a lot of young women are feeling like, oh, I have to choose between one or the other. And it doesn't have to be that way. We should be able to make room and space so that women can be but as Megan put it, both your cup can be full. She also talked about one of my favorite part of the podcast, where she talked about how, just because you fail at something, it doesn't mean that, you're broken, that you can continue, and how she dealt with her own failures. And that was really nice to hear, because I'm someone that's very obsessed with success, sometimes in a way that can be quite toxic to the self. So that was very encouraging to hear. And I think I enjoyed this episode actually even more than the last one. And there was definitely a lot to take from this. So I think if you're a female entrepreneur or you're thinking about entrepreneurship, and you want to get insight on, dealing with those hard moments, and that in the end you can still just get up and continue, and also how sometimes your life and your journey can take detours and it doesn't always turn out the way that you thought that it would. That's something else that Reshma picks up on. She thought things were going to go one way and they went completely the other way. And in fact, the other way was better. This is definitely the episode for you. All right, I'll just check the comments before we keep it moving. Yes, empowering young women and girls to go for their dreams. And also making sure that you have a partner who is incredibly supportive of your dreams. All this Andrew Tate nonsense. Honey, find a man that will support you or stay single. Miss Levy, you said, but also a lot of us are against each other. Women can be awful to each other. 50% of the patriarchy, I do believe, is held up by other women, which is very sad. And actually, this is also something else that was mentioned at the end of the podcast. This feeling of almost like people are trying to push us back, push all the progress back. But you choosing to be the light in the pushback, and saying that you're also going to push back so that our daughters and nieces can continue to enjoy the freedoms that are trying to be taken away from them. Oh, Nash, thank you so much for becoming a member. Or are you rejoining? I'm pretty sure you were a member before. Thank you so much to come back for coming back to the club. Okay, next thing. With the success of As Ever, I think that there was naturally going to try to be a move to attach the success of As Ever to the other royals, and also I think there's this running narrative of sooner or later Harry and Meghan are going to come running back, tail between their legs, that whole nonsense. So there was this that came up in, I believe this was Fox News, that Meghan had sent her lifestyle products to Charles in a bid to end the royal rift. Now, first and foremost, we know that this is nonsense. But the thing that gets me about this is that this isn't necessarily the worst of the lies that the tabloids tell, but why tell this lie at all? Why tell this lie at all? Meghan hasn't even been given a proper apology. And mind you, the apology should be as loud as the disrespect. And that would be the loudest apology that anybody should have ever been given in history, if ever the other royals decide to apologize to Meghan. But here you have a whole article talking about Meghan sending gifts to end a royal rift, as if it's Meghan's duty to do that, trying to suggest somehow that it's Meghan's fault. And it's this Neil Sean guy. I believe this is the guy that they sometimes have on kind of the showbiz round. And again, it's just how are people just allowed to write this garbage with no repercussions? Nonsense. Anywho, that just really annoyed me. Also, I'm seeing more articles like this. This is the second article that I've seen about Putin having dirt on the royals and foreign entities having dirt on the royals. There was the whole Chinese spy thing. And let me first of all just say this. The last few decades, if we're going to just take the last 3 or 4 decades, right? The royals have been a complete disaster. It's been one disaster after another. And all of these disasters and mishaps are all public knowledge. The British public know many of these things. The cash for honors, the Prince Andrew, I mean, you name it. So I think it's very cheap to try and use a foreign entity or a foreign leader as some kind of boogeyman and say that whatever they have is going to end the royals. Because so far, everything that is public knowledge and known to the public, it's not like the British public have really done anything or pushed back in any type of meaningful way that has put too much of a dent in the royals' crown. At best, people are just getting bored and ignoring them. Headlines like this somehow, or they want to suggest that it's this boogeyman foreign entity that's, you know, going to come in and that'll be the end of the royals, as if there aren't so many things that they have done themselves, almost absolving them of any responsibility of things that they have done themselves and put themselves, for us to be in a situation where Charles would be the last king. Because let's just say that this is true. Let's just assume that somebody out there has something on tape or something that is so bad. What could it even be? And if it came out again, I ask, what would the British public do? What would they do? I mean, they're not my kinfolk, bless them. They're out here on these streets all the time, but it's still a very small crowd. And in fact, even though the crowds for the royals are getting smaller, the crowds that do come are still bigger than the crowds of protesters. That would have to be some pretty damning evidence or footage or whatever it is, if this is true. And even then, it's like, well, what would the British public do? What are they going to do? They're very fine with Camilla prancing around. Queen Camilla now, by the way. So let's not absolve the royal institution of everything that they've done to lead themselves into the situation that they're in now. Let's not just like put all the blame on some foreign entity. Also, Kate and William went for their 55 millionth holiday. I kid, I think it's maybe their third or fourth holiday. Apparently, they're going to sue for these pictures coming out. Now, when I first saw these pictures, I thought, oh, they look pretty cozy. All of the pictures, by the way, they look very cozy. I'm now starting to think that these pictures were actually posed for. Because I've seen all of the pictures, some of them with the kids. I'm not going to show the ones with the kids. And it is honestly the happiest, most calm and normal that I have seen these people. You have to wonder, why is it when they're actually out in public that they don't look this happy, relaxed and calm in each other's presence? And that's why I believe that these photographs were staged. I don't even actually believe that they're going to sue for these photographs. I believe they were staged. They just look so happy in these pictures. In fact, they look more happy in these so-called candids than they do in the pictures and video footage and Herbal Essences commercial that they staged and posed for. Interesting. Oh, thank you so much, Leslie. Hope Gums, that's what we're calling that stalk lady, Gums gets detained and shipped to Elsa. Y'all, let's keep other people's countries out of this. I hope she gets shipped to the 5th dimension. That's where I hope she gets shipped. El Salvador don't want her. Let's not punish El Salvador for something that they didn't do. Gums can go to the 5th dimension. Nash, you said, and something is going on with your membership. I did not end my membership, but for some reason I got a notice to renew my membership. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. Oh, I don't know why that is. Maybe it just sends you an update every now and again. Do you want to renew your membership? Sorry about that, but thank you so much for doing so. Appreciate it. And thank you for letting me know. If anybody else is having any issues, maybe comment and maybe one of the other members can help you. I can't see what you lot see on my side, but thanks for letting me know and thank you for supporting and sending that message. Okay, yeah, let's get on to the security thing. So Harry basically said in People magazine that his worst fears had been confirmed. And I think we really all know what that is. Because from the very beginning, it was the Diana playbook. From the very beginning. In one of my up-and-coming podcasts, maybe on a day when I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, we need to revisit this. Byline Times did a fantastic job of making the links and why and when Harry's security was pulled, and how that implicates Dan Wooten, Christian Jones, Jason North, the whole lot of them. And this was a very, very good piece, and I'm going to read this out again at some point, and when we're going to revisit this, because I think we need to. But if you haven't read this piece, or you weren't here back when I originally read it, this was first published. When was this first published? October. Oh gosh, woo! Time is flying. 25th of October 2023. When I first read this, go and read it, and I will definitely reread it here, because you definitely look at it now with a fresh pair of eyes. Mushy said, "Yep, the public didn't even bat an eye about the slumlord piece or anything else." Exactly. Listen, unless they've got that footage, and that alleged footage of someone getting some allegedly for the lawyers listening, of someone getting some pagan action or something. I just can't imagine what it is that they have that would make the British public react so much that they would actually get out the house and do something. Mind you, I wouldn't even want that footage to be out anywhere, because I don't believe anybody deserves to be blackmailed. But I'm just trying to figure out what is it that is so darn bad that the British public don't know, that already isn't in the public domain, that you're trying to blame the demise of the royal family on something, some collateral that some foreign entity has, and not what they've done themselves. Like, come on. But yeah, we're gonna revisit this, and I just feel so sorry for Harry, because I think he very likely knew what was going on, but maybe he was a little bit in denial. And now just seeing it in black and white just must feel like the ultimate betrayal. But at least now, and I believe this is a huge part of the reason why Harry took this all the way, was so that it could be on record, because there's never actually been any clarity on what Diana wanted regarding her security. I believe that, well, first and foremost, Diana needed security, but she probably felt, and rightly so, that she couldn't trust the royal household, because I think any security that they did offer her came with conditions. And you know that they would have been wanting to stalk on her and get reports and leak and all sorts, because you can see it playing out now. Even when they were offering Harry and Meghan half in, half out, and with the current security situation, Harry has to give them notice. Now, if he gives them notice, they'll just leak to the press and they'll know his whereabouts. But now, for him, his wife, and his children, they've got it in black and white. That Harry's family are so selfish that they're happy to put him, Meghan, Lilibet, and Archie in danger. Pettiness of it all, the vindictiveness of it all, the jealousy of it all. And for what? For what? Truly sad. I feel very bad for Harry. But as soon as you saw those headlines straight out of Compton, and then it continued after that and it never stopped, you kind of just knew this was coming. I think that they were just hoping that the relationship between Harry and Meghan would end. He wouldn't actually marry her. They could somehow end or mess up the wedding. And then even when they got married, we're hoping that he would divorce her. And then even when he got on a plane and moved over to California, that he would leave her and come back. And then when he didn't come back, that the bullying would mess up their business deals and their marriage, and it didn't do any of those things. And now Harry and Meghan are flying, and none of their plans have worked. So what next? Now we know the truth, that you clearly wanted this man and his wife to be in danger. You haven't managed to bully them. You haven't managed to get them to divorce. I've been saying this from the very beginning of this podcast, and I believe I will be proven right. Their obsession with destroying Harry and Meghan is eventually going to lead to them destroying themselves. And all of the bullying and all of the vitriol, and guess what? You're still not any more popular and liked. With that, I'm going to end the podcast. Thank you so much, y'all. Appreciate you as always. Here we are, almost 1 a.m. UK time. The great thing about coming on at this time, though, even though I am exhausted, is there's more of you here. So it's great to just have more of you here. I enjoy having you all. Let me just check my messages to make sure nobody's okay. With that, I think I will just go to your comments and then we will wrap things up. Those of you who ordered your As Ever, how are you finding it? Lightside sent me a picture of her crepes the other day. They looked amazing. Oh, and by the way, Meghan mentioned in an interview that the As Ever products are made in the US. So for now, the tariffs will not be affecting As Ever products. And thank goodness for Tyler Perry. Biggest plot twist in royal history. Medea saves the prince and his princess. Traditionally, the Sussex Squad could have told Harry this when he married Meghan. Indeed. Indeed, we could have. I think that Harry really wanted to believe that his family and the institution would change. He really wanted to believe that. And I think it probably still shocks him. Not only that they betrayed him, but that they couldn't see how it would be better for them to welcome and protect Meghan. Gwendolyn, this is one fake picture. Are you referring to William and Kate's pictures? Indeed. Because we never get pictures of them on vacation, which is why I believe these were posed for. Thank you so much, Black Queen, for reminding everyone. Yes, indeed. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button so we can get to 40,000. And yes, thanks for your remarkable support. Even on my worst days, you're still here. Appreciate you. Yeah, Susie Q, I just think now it's time for Prince Harry to just wash his hands. Wash his hands. Yeah, Harry was a diamond in the cubic zirconia mine. Rhonda, you said he more than likely assumed, but confirmation hits hard. It would. Dominica, you said, I am putting the beach house in the Hamptons for sale. Any offers? £1. We will start at £1. Anybody for £1? £1 for the beach house in the Hamptons. Woo! Good for you, Dominica, for having a beach house in the Hamptons. So are you going to buy a country home somewhere else then? Where's nice for country homes in the US? I mean, from what the little that I know about the US, isn't that Hamptons meant to be like the creme de la creme? So where do you go from the Hamptons? What's higher than the Hamptons? Suzuki said, even if he wins, he should never trust them. Yeah, I think a lot of it was just to really get to the truth and have it come to court so that it could be, public and court document for the record. Yeah, they were hoping for Meghan to get fed up and divorce him. Yes, Marcia, we need a spare part 2. And we have enough pages for a spare part 2. What was it, 400, 600 pages? Just release the extra pages, Harry. Comment in the chat. Do you think that Harry could potentially actually release them extra pages after Charles dies? I'm wondering. By the way, I forgot to put this on my slide, but William was at yet another football match. What is this new obsession that William has with going to football matches all the time? This has got to be new. I don't remember him going to the football this often. Is this some kind of weird and wacky new way of trying to seem relatable? Oh, it was 400 pages? Okay, that's enough for a whole book, nah? Give us the extra 400 pages. My gosh. Don't actually know exactly how many books Harry has in his deal. I mean, there's been all kinds of speculation, but no actual confirmation from Harry's people. But I'm wondering if Harry released another book, if it would be possibly about the press. Or maybe he would collaborate with somebody else to write about the press. Laura, you said no more spare, please. I want Meghan's book. Any book she wants to write. Indeed, give us anything, Meghan. I don't know why I feel like Meghan would be good at writing young adult. Like, I don't know, maybe young adult romance or something. We'll see. She's got a pretty full plate and 2 kids and a husband, but she's a hard worker. So we'll see what else Meghan gives us. But yes, I would like a book from her. But I feel like Meghan's story, I feel like it needs the right timing. I don't think now is that time. I think now Meghan is best to just focus on her brand. Because I feel like people are so desperate for her to say something about the royal family, to see her through that lens. And with everything going as great as it is now, she's really building Meghan post-royal life, her own brand, and it would be best for her to probably just not speak about the royal family at all. I don't think she will. But if she was to write a book, it would have to be, I think the best time for it to come out would be years from now. I think now is just, and as she said it herself, era of joy. Era of joy. Era of joy, era of branding and building, and just forget about these people on the screen. Don't mention them, because that's what they want. I feel like a lot of people, when they see her, it's like they want her to mention them. Like, don't give them that. Benjamin, I think it's a 3-book deal. Fine Bones, you just said, that's what I just told my mother this evening. Tyler Perry swooped in, Megan is holding things down. She handled business. Cookbook, yes. For sure, I think we'll see more cookbooks. More cookbooks. Maybe more children's books. Maybe poetry. But like Megan's story, the story, I don't think we'll hear that for a while, to be honest. And I don't even think it would be best for it to come out anytime soon. But that's just my opinion. Okay, I'm going to end things there, folks. Thank you so much. I need to get to bed. I'm not even going to play the outro. Appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for showing up the way you do. And I will see you. Will I see you tomorrow? If there's any urgent news, I will see you tomorrow. If not, you will likely not see me tomorrow, just because I'm working all day. Okay, ciao.